Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast. And welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
This post is an overview of deep underground military bases. An understanding of what trauma-based mind control programming is and how it works is necessary to understand lots of this. All sources and links at the end. These above top-secret deep-level underground bases are used for trauma-based mind control or monarch programming, experimental programming, genetic and other human experimentation, military, Illuminati or New World Order technology development and storage, including advanced weapons and advanced anti-gravity crafts, the highest-level scientific and paranormal experiments, military abductions, black ops, human trafficking, assault and torture, breeding programs, and other terrible things. There exists a huge network of maglev tube shuttle connections under the United States, which extends into a global system of tunnel and underground bases and cities. They are basically whole cities underground. They all are between 2.66 and 4.25 cubic miles in size. They have laser drilling machines that can drill a tunnel 7 miles long in one day. I was involved in building an addition to the deep underground military base at Dulce, which is probably the deepest base. It goes down 7 levels and is over 2.5 miles deep. I helped hollow out more than 13 deep underground military bases in the United States.
I discovered that not only was our government focused on building deep secret cities, but the Illuminati families were also. Furthermore, they were using technology that the public was unaware existed. The idea behind it all was to create safe and secret places for themselves. Witnesses have described elevators going miles down, super-fast trains, backup government agencies, genetic experiments, warehouses of stockpiled materials, and a non-human-human hybrid project. But what continues to haunt me was the look one eyewitness gave me when he said, "Fritz, you don't have a clue. What is going on is beyond all you have thought of." And after that, there was a stone-faced mask on his countenance.
Most of these underground bases are funded by the black budget and non-appropriated funds. Intelligence agencies run the global drug trade. Where's this money coming from? It's not coming from our regular black opus budget. It's coming from the illegal sale of drugs. In the United States, there's at least, by conservative estimates, $250 billion to $500 billion of illegal drugs just sold in the United States that goes directly into underground budgets, and 90 to 95% goes to the underground bases. Black Ops budget is $500 billion per year, a quarter of the U.S. gross national product. Black budget is not monitored by Congress. It's an independent taxing body but is mainly financed by drug operations by the CIA, NSA and the Drug Enforcement Administration, also the FBI more recently. An FBI man tried to tell the public about this and was murdered in January 1995.
Much of this Black Ops drug money is being used to fund projects classified above top secret. These projects include the building and maintenance of deep-level underground bases, such as the Chrysanthemum Underground Biogenetics Facility in Dulce, New Mexico, Pine Gap in Australia, Brecon Beacons in Wales, Snowy Mountains in Australia, the Nyala Range in Africa, west of Kindu in Africa, next to the Libyan border in Egypt, Mount Blanc in Switzerland, Narvik in Scandinavia, Gotland Island in Sweden. There are at least 1,400 of these deep underground military bases worldwide, 131 in the US, with 2 underground bases being built per year in the US at the moment. The average depth of the bases are 4.25 miles underground, some shallower and some deeper. The bases are on average the size of a medium-sized city. Each base costs between $17 and $26 billion to build, which is funded by MI6 and CIA drug money. A nuclear-powered drill is used to dig underground. This drill goes through rock at a tremendous rate and literally melts the rock away to form a smooth glass-like surface around the edges of the tunnels. Project Mannequin was started in 1972 and is still being run from a 6-level underground facility beneath the small town of Peasmore in Berkshire, a few miles from where I grew up. Also the CLC-1 base under Westminster in London and connected to a large base under Parliament, the Monsoon-1 facility under Royal Air Force Lakenheath 90 miles north of London, and the underground facility below the Portondown Bio-Warfare Facility in Wiltshire. This underground base is so secret that the local residents of Peasmore are not even aware it exists. This NSA facility, known in intelligence circles as the AL-499 base, is located 200 feet below the village. There are entrances to the facility at Greenham Common, known as Bravo Entrance, which is now sealed off. Watchfield Military Science College, Delta Entrance. Harwell Laboratories in Oxfordshire. There are entrances to the base in Lambourne and Welford in Berkshire. The underground base at Lambourne is the Area 51 of the United Kingdom, with many exotic, anti-gravity aircraft stored there. Many of these underground facilities are equipped with advanced technology used to program slaves and soldiers, especially super soldiers. All Black Ops or Delta soldiers are highly programmed. High-tech programming is used along with the blood rituals and extreme mind-splitting traumas, utilizing trip seats. Psychological program alteration units, modified sensory deprivation tanks, advanced virtual reality in holograms, harmonics, various surgical and medical alterations, implants and microchips, brainwave scanning, negative sound rooms, machines used to program in specific beliefs and responses, and a number of other sophisticated electronic hardware-based hypnosis machines.
The New World Order relies on these secret bases, the technology developed in them, and their sophisticated mind control technology for their plans. Most people, including most of the so-called patriots, are sincere about defeating the New World Order, but they are really looking in the wrong direction. They need to uncover, expose, and alert the people of the world what's going on below the Earth's surface. What if you were to realize that Canada has over 30 underground bases, and its neighbor to the south has over 140 active DUMBs? Worldwide, there are now over 1,500 DUMBs. Let us assume all North American DUMBs are connected below by oxygenated magneto-leviton trains from Krupp, Germany, and are able to reach Mach 2, having the tunnels vacuumed of air to eliminate air resistance. Do you know that more than 3,000 people have been killed for trying to talk about what goes on in these underground bases? It's basically a death sentence when you start getting too close to the nerve center of the real New World Order's plans. The real heart and soul of the New World Order plan lies in the mysterious underground military bases scattered all over the world. He became privy to this top-secret information when he served as a junior officer in the Canadian Armed Forces in the Aerospace Engineering Branch, while working at one of the top-secret deep underground military bases at Cold Lake in Canada.
In the U.S., approximately 140 of these underground bases exist. A geologist friend of this author who helped build these bases gave his life to get the truth out to the American people. He was a programmed multiple of the Illuminati, and some of his alters knew it. These underground bases play a vital role in the entire mind control network. There also exist massive underground cities and areas, fully equipped and stocked for harboring a large amount of people for a long time.
I'm primarily using the term slab because this is what they use to describe the town area and what the town area sits on. Each town area was their own slab. This is taken from the fact the cave area was open and huge, maybe the size of Chicago, New York, and they divided it up and floored it off. 3 football fields long, 6 football fields wide, was the size of the slab. The whole opening was divided up into approximately 10 slabs. This, I will assume, when taken into that, is probably the size of Chicago and New York. The reason I keep calling the area we were in a slab is because that's what they call it, and that name stuck. There were many slabs that had X amount of homes on it. Outside of the home, it was very spacious. Wasn't cramped even slightly. It was like being anywhere in the US, but just dark, of course, because you were underground. One thing that was a little strange was that it was like your ears were hearing a hollowed out kind of sound. Very strange, and it is something you would have to experience. It wasn't noise or a sound, kind of like empty filled air all around you. Also, most of the homes were empty. They were owned in full. But it wasn't like people went there on family vacations to hang out. We were only there because my dad's friend needed him at the time. They have the ability to stay underground for centuries, probably till the point they would come out eventually looking something far from us today.
A big function of these bases and underground laboratories is genetic research and every conceivable type of human experimentation, including modified humans, chimera creation, and any and all types of tests and experiments on slaves and embryos. There exist many extremely horrific underground breeding programs in these facilities. Many survivors have also talked about the rows and rows of cages holding humans for terrible experiments and rituals at many of these underground bases. Biomolecular biology and genetics, humanoids that are vastly different from normal humans have been created in secret underground installations. They have been modifying humans to design para-humans, and then applying mind control to them.
K. Griggs stated the military is cloning humans. That is correct. I saw human cloning being conducted at Dulce and Pine Gap. The bodies are grown to full form in giant test tubes just like in the propaganda film, The Sixth Day. When I was 6 years old, Gittinger showed me a massive clone army of super soldiers assembled like stormtroopers on the floor of a 3-story high auditorium carved beneath Pine Gap. They looked 7 feet tall, were dressed in black German-style uniforms, and lacked male genitalia. Gittinger told me to take a look at the genitalia of one of them, and it looked like a Ken doll. A fleet of UFOs with NASA stamped on their shell were stored on an underground conveyor belt system at Pine Gap.
A great deal of secret experimentation has gone on in underground installations with genetics. This author has had the privilege of debriefing someone who worked at the Area 51 underground installation. He was murdered after having had several long interviews with this author. Truth is stranger than fiction. It goes without saying that the Illuminati has gathered up every harebrained idea for controlling and manipulating the human race. That doesn't mean every one of them have been attempted, but they have the means to carry out very bizarre experiments in their underground facilities, such as the ones at Area 51. There is no question that they have tried to augment natural human features and replace natural human parts. Who knows what weird transgenic or cybernetic beings have been created? This author knows that they have been successful in some of their work at reshaping humans. This author has accumulated a great deal of information on the underground installations from eyewitnesses, but there is no way of knowing what is accurate and what is disinformation. However, a few details are definite. These underground installations are massive and they involve genetic manipulation to create new species or breed special types of people. The New World Order has been secretly creating chimeras. Chimeras is the widely used name for beast men. This research is generally not for the public to see but is done in some of the underground facilities listed in Appendix 2. An example would be a creature that was half human and half some other beast.
The elite Jason scientists operated out of Dulce in the USA and Pine Gap in Australia. DNA and reproductive materials collected from child victims at the CIA research facility at Ansto in Lucas Heights were stored in liquid nitrogen flasks and transported to Pine Gap in Central Australia for use in the Jason Super Soldier Genetic Engineering Project.
One thing that they do that is very advanced, almost mind-bogglingly advanced, is genetic manipulation and crossbreeding of humans. Both Jesse and Cisco report that the Illuminati Brotherhood is secretly creating human-animal hybrids called chimeras. They are breeding humans with birds and other animals, as well as inserting DNA into humans that normally would belong only to a fish, for example.
Area 51, Dreamland, Groom Lake, Nevada. Area 51 is also known as Dreamland. There are a number of extensive underground facilities in the area. This was one of the first genetic research facilities in the U.S., and perhaps the first major genetic research facility. The workers and victims are brought in by airplane and tube shuttle. The worst cases of UFO alien type of monarch programming are coming out of Area 51. The eggs from slaves are being harvested and weird genetic creatures are being developed from human eggs which have been genetically mixed with other things.
This security officer, Barry King, witnessed many of the strange things I saw in Project Mannequin. Not least, small military biorobots that are part machine and part organic, known as PLF's programmable life forms. These are short, gray-colored beings used for many projects. The PLFs are developed in 3 stages, and each stage has its own section in the base. There are up to 500 stored at any one time, and these are used in the AL-499 and also shipped to various military bases in this country and overseas. The development between stages is rapid and is approximately 3 months. Depending on what the PLFs are being used for, they have 3 fingers and a thumb, and some have 4 fingers and a thumb.
The basic MK Delta model was a mind-controlled human whose abilities were enhanced through hypnosis, drugs, sensory deprivation, esoteric means, etc. Another model had abilities enhanced through biochipping, bionics, and genetic modification using animal DNA.
Many of these larger underground constructions are constructed in or connect to already existing massive natural cave systems. There are huge tunnel and cave systems running underneath the surface of the entire Earth. There are natural cave systems, border tunnels, underground military bases, vacuum-sealed super-transport tunnels, underground scientific research institutions, catacombs of historic buildings, subway and train tunnels, secret community tunnels, and underground railway tunnels.
The world is made up of tunnel systems that go all the way back to Babylon. Below the Earth's surface there are tunnels, some nearer the surface and some way below the surface, very, very deep. Most of us are aware that there are tunnels that carry sewage, street water runoff, and other waste either towards a water treatment plant or the ocean for removal from cities, but that's only the very first level of tunnel systems. Deeper than that are tunnels for the deep underground military bases, and a level even deeper are tunnels used by the system, specifically by the protectors. Underneath Texas, and connecting to Florida and California are ocean water-filled tunnels that submarines can travel through, which are used to transport children and adults in human trafficking. These were built by the Luciferians specifically for this purpose. In some of the tunnel systems that the system uses exclusively for themselves are booby traps, located in a device that looks something like a decommissioned Poseidon missile, which is filled with biological weaponized compounds, things like smallpox and Ebola. Jesse was told as a child that they would be set off if the location was discovered. In the deepest tunnel systems are born and bred generations of children who never lived to see the light of day. Their skin is very translucent, and their pupils are very large and black because of the scarce lighting. The system calls them the mole children, or the black-eyed children.
Many national parks and Indian reservations are used for these above top-secret underground facilities. For example, there is an extensive underground CIA New World Order base in Glacier National Park, Montana, which connects to Canada. Hidden high atop the mountainside along going to the Sun Road at more than 600 feet is the secret tunnel entrance to an extensive underground CIA facility. 48.7474 north and 113.7633 west. In the above satellite image, the larger circle denotes the hidden rock facade entrance and the smaller circle denotes the position of camouflaged guards. The secret tunnel descends more than 2 miles to a giant hollowed-out industrial complex below the mountain. This huge underground city base connects Montana to Canada just north of the national border at the International Peace Park. This underground base is where the CIA keeps its stolen trillions and tests its most secret New World Order black project, including Tesla's flying disc, optically invisible aircraft, and other stolen Tesla technology. Operations at the base include maintenance and deployment of stealth drones. Glacier National Park was the first national park to have railroad access at the time, a necessity for all large-scale underground military-industrial construction. This enabled them to transport the rumored German gold train of stolen loot from Montauk, New York to the secret base located inside the mountain. On the promontory above the secret tunnel entrance there is a strange-looking outcropping of rocks that at certain times of the day looks like a grizzly bear, hence the name Grizzly Peak. The CIA uses this secret tunnel route to illegally smuggle drugs, guns, German war criminals, and dignitaries into Canada without stopping at any border crossings. The secret tunnel entrance to the underground base is hidden behind a remote control, movable rock wall located in the side of the mountain on going to the Sun Road, shown in Skorzeny's photograph, just north of Grizzly Peak and the Weeping Wall. In the far background, the garden wall can be seen, and at the far right is the base of Haystack Butte. The tunnel entrance, shadowed overhang circled, bottom right was cut out of the bedrock by a precision laser to prevent any possible discovery. When the base is active during the summer months, there are armed and camouflaged guards hiding on the mountainside, upper left corner surrounding the secret tunnel entrance. The New World Order keeps its stolen trillions and stolen Tesla technology secretly hidden inside this hollowed-out mountain facility, providing access only to the New World Order elite. The CIA Germans use stolen Tesla technology to create artificial anti-gravity fields around Glacier National Park, the nearby Blackfoot Indian Reservation, and many other locations throughout the world. There are hundreds of satellites orbiting the Earth that project high-intensity positively charged laser beams to certain areas on the Earth. The New World Order Germans use these beams not only as weapons, but also to transmit power to levitating aircraft, flying discs, and various other stolen Tesla technologies below. The absorptive properties of the levitating aircraft allow their utilization of energy beamed from orbital plasma generators, optimally transmitted when the stealth aircraft are themselves plasma-cloaked for optical and radar invisibility, giving off only infrared light. A hazardous byproduct of these space-based laser beams is radon gas. Radon is said to be an invisible gas that causes cancer and leukemia in humans and animals, but if you ask the US government about radon gas, you will not get a straight answer. Native Americans on the nearby Blackfoot Reservation have suffered from extremely high rates of cancer and leukemia since the 1950s. The US government says that nothing is wrong and there is no reason to be concerned, yet suffering communities must be informed of the true cause of their severe ailments. The SR-71 Blackbird, B-2 stealth bomber planes, and anti-gravity flying discs are constantly hovering just below 200 feet in the skies above Glacier National Park and the Blackfoot Indian Reservation. This explains why commercial flights are forbidden to fly below 200 feet in Glacier National Park, and why no one is allowed to bring firearms into the park for protection against the aggressions of the resident grizzly bears. There are many more secret CIA bases at other national parks around the country, including the Grand Canyon. These planes are optically invisible and make no audible sound at all. The SR-71 are periodically brought into the secret underground hangars located in the hollowed-out mountain below Grizzly Peak on going to the Sun Road. These levitating airplanes are slowly lowered into the waters of Lake McDonald in Glacier National Park, seen above. The planes are capable of traveling underwater like submarines for short distances. Once the planes are submerged in Lake McDonald, they travel to the underground or underwater hangars inside the hollowed-out mountain. Once inside the underground hangars, the planes are serviced. There is a giant elevator inside the mountain that brings the planes up to a full-size hidden runway inside the mountain. During the night, when going to the Sun Road is closed, a large camouflaged section of the mountain is briefly opened for aircraft to exit the facility. Once the plane has left the mountain base, the secret runway bay doors are closed. Otto Skorzeny presented the photograph below, taken on August 27, 1997, describing the hidden stealth technologies active around Glacier Park's Lake McDonald. Skorzeny pointed out the flat, squared rock as being a hidden flat panel radar array, one feature among several secret installations enabling covert surveillance of the sensitive airspace. The disc-shaped cloud is actually a plasma-cloaked stealth disk aircraft silently hovering above the CIA boat. Photos of cloud-enveloped discs are well known in UFO circles. The US government claims that SR-71 Blackbirds in hangars are wet because they expand and shrink while flying, thereby causing condensation buildup. That line is disinformation. Stealth planes spray mists of water on themselves while flying to create the illusion of optical invisibility by interaction with the electrified aircraft shell. Water vapor is used by stealth planes to disguise the aircraft in a white-colored artificial cloud that, when ignited, forms a plasma mirage envelope for complete optical cloaking. To use the words of Otto Skorzeny, the stealth planes are like flying ozone generators. This advanced application of oxyhydrogen plasmas derived from water allows the planes to be lowered through the waters of Lake McDonald or other lakes around the U.S. to secret underwater or underground CIA facility. Secret bases include Area 51, Nevada, Camp Hero Montauk, New York, Las Cruces, New Mexico, Wright-Patterson Underground Air Force Base, Ohio, and the secret hollowed-out mountain base in Glacier National Park, Montana. The secret entrance to the Glacier Park, Montana base is circled above. Antarctica has these underground bases as well, as shown in the Strava Fitbit heat map data leaks.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more green texts will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.
Remember to check out the Odyssey page in the description for a second archive of the channel's videos.